humans, and this is why it's called human evolution. But before we go, I'll tell you why it's called human evolution. Because humans, so imagine something like they're Homo neanderthalis, right, and Homo sapiens. They're not ancestors of us, but they're cousins to us. But if you looked at Homo erectus, the ancestor of Homo sapiens, so what must have happened, Homo erectus and another species must have bred, and this is what created Homo sapiens. And another species, a different species like Homo erectus and a different species, other than the one that bred with Homo erectus that created Homo sapiens, another one must have created Homo neanderthalis. And this is how all of this happened. Now we go to the slides. So there are many types of humans. Like I said, Homo erectus, Homo neanderthalis, and Homo sapiens, which is us. And there's Homo habilis and Australopithecus. These are all humans, different species of humans. Okay, but now I'll show you all of the species, or all of the species of great apes. Okay, they're Homo sapiens, Homo neanderthalis, like I told you, and then Homo erectus, Homo habilis, the ancestor of Homo erectus, and Homo habilis, ancestor Australopithecus africanus, and it's an Australopithecus africanus cousin is Australopithecus gari, and their ancestor is Australopithecus afarensis. Australopithecus anamanus is Australopithecus afarensis ancestor, and Paranthropus boisei and Paranthropus robustus are both cousins, but their ancestor is Paranthropus aetiopicus. Okay, and their ancestors Australopithecus afarensis, and Australopithecus anamanus is the ancestor of Australopithecus afarensis, and they gave birth to a creature called Ardipithecus remedius. Okay, and this is the hominidus ancestor. But what happened all the way disconnected to a new family, if you see here, because this ended here, but this Paranthropus robustus and Paranthropus boisei, those creatures started a new family which created a chimpanzee. So it's like having two families, and one is called the Homo sapiens tribe, and one is called chimpanzees tribe. Imagine it like that. Now we'll go to the next slide. And there are lots of creatures, and now that have a human-shaped body. Not technically, but similar. Like if you looked at Gibbon, look at that. This is Gibbon here, and it's smaller than a human, but its shape. And you know why all of these creatures look like this and walk, and humans walk? It's because of the time they came. They came in the Ice Age, but after the Ice Age, we're in Africa during the Ice Age, okay? But after the Ice Age, what happened was the trees started falling. The Africa used to be tropical, but they lost its trees, and this is why humans and chimpanzees, gorillas, orangutans, they were in Asia, but if you look at gibbon, you can see the difference between gibbon, human, chimpanzee, gorilla, and orangutan. If you look at its arms and look at gibbon's arms, they're more of climbing. But if you see human, chimpanzee, and gorilla, they're not as large. But what happened was when Africa lost its trees, humans, chimpanzee, gorilla had to adapt, and they adapted to get to these certain feet, okay? And what happened, why we weren't able to climb, is we adapted, and when adapting, we adapted to become ground dwellers. But chimpanzees, they're also ground dwellers, but sometimes there's some tropical rain, there's some forest, then African chimpanzees, that's where chimpanzees live, but they're ground dwellers, but sometimes they go up and stay in there. But gorillas are also ground dwellers, but they also live in the forest, and they started walking because of the same reason, crawling and walking because of the same reason why humans started walking. Now I'll show you the similarities between human and chimp. So in that picture it looked quite different, but here you can see the difference. This is human, this is chimpanzee. I'm calling the chimpanzee chimp because it's a slang word and it's easier to say. So this is the chimp. See its buttocks? It's larger than humans' buttocks because of adaptation. Head is different because adaptation, but if you look at its ribs, there's a big similarity. These ribs are both in common because they are both in the shape of the human ribs because they're both cousins. And also, do you know when I sing two families got created when do you know how it's talking about, I'll go back to that page, where Parantopus robustus and Parantopus boise created a new family called, and that's where chimpanzee falls under too. But these Homo sapiens and Australopithecus gari is the ancestor for Parantopus robustus and Parantopus boise. So that's why we're cousins. And if you think about it, and this is why we get the same spine. And see the feet of the chimpanzee, this is what I was talking about. Their feet is opposable. See, only our hands are opposable. See, this is my hand, but we have an opposable thumb. They have opposable feet, and chimps have opposable feet and opposable hands. But we only have opposable hands. So this is good, and opposable thumbs are good for grip. And our feet is different because chimps and Z's crawl, right? But we walk. So we have to have some feet, keep us stable from falling. But hand-like feet, we can fall. So it has to be something long, but also kind of wide, right? And so, like the hand. So what happened is this is how the feet form. And now I'll tell you why all the apes went extinct. So there are many apes, right? Like I told you. And then what happened was, and during the Ice Age, what happened is there's a mass extinction period which drove these to extinction, but it also made humans endangered. But what happened was, if you Neanderthals didn't use their mind that well, and they didn't have the more complex research tools that Homo sapiens have, which is us. And this is what made humans survive, but Homo neanderthals didn't survive because of that same thing. Even though Homo neanderthalis is very strong and much stronger than us. And we're the weakest ape in the world. And living ape. Not living ape, but even extinct apes are stronger than us. And this happened because during what happened was when we started building the houses and everything, when that started happening, what happened was predators wouldn't attack us because we had to shelter. Why would predators go in our shelter? Because that's our territory. And this is why, and we started becoming more ferocious, but even though we're very weak, and this is why we became so weak. Because predators wouldn't attack us. And Homo erectus got extinct the same way. Homo habilis was the same thing, but what happened was they lived during the Ice Age, but they lived in the tropical forest. Okay? And same thing with Australopithecus afarensis. But what happened? The trees fell during the Ice Age, and there are lots of predators, which drove them to extinction, and also their mind and the tools they needed was not as complex that drove them to extinction, and that's the exact same with Homo habilis, not Homo erectus, because this guy didn't live in the forest. They roamed around, okay? Like humans. They lived in tribes. Same with Homo neanderthalis, but their mind and tools wouldn't compare to the human tools and mind which drove them to extinction. And thank you for watching my video. And please subscribe. And please subscribe if you like my video. Thank you.